She is a politician, businesswoman, and administrator. She was elected to serve as the Senator of Adamawa North Senatorial District of Adamawa State in the year 2015. But prior to that, she served 3 consecutive tenures in the House of Representatives from 1999 to 2011. And of course, she also represented 2 states. She's a woman of many firsts, and she's been chairperson Adamawa State Chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC, the first female state chairperson of a major registered political party in the entire country, a women rights activist. Welcome to Top Talk. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde, and I'm glad to be joined by Senator Binta Masi Garba. Nice to have you on Top Talk.
Thank you very much, and nice to have me in your studio.
Where have you been?
In my little corner, minding my little business. Well, it's been a beautiful moment. When you are out of office, you try to see how you look at the activities of yours when you are in the office and outside the office, and you try to make some certain amends.
Did you get to study life in and out of the office, and what are the differences?
Well, there's not too much differences, though, just the pressure of people looking for one need or the other in terms of meeting their need either administratively or privately. But now it has really gone down. Again, giving me time to look inward in terms of my family, my children, and trying to see how I can diversify outside political activities, which has made me to be a farmer. So I'm into farming full-time. 70% of my time mostly is in the farm. I'm trying to see how I can contribute my quota in the agro-economic sector to see that Nigerians are well fed. Since now everybody is saying that we are hungry, but I am beginning to understand what my late mother used to tell us when we were growing up. And being the first daughter of hers, make sure you have a garden behind your house. Make sure you have a garden. So virtually every day is that we must enter her little garden behind the house so that we can pick whatever we want to cook in the house. And not about 6-7 years back, I started appreciating what she was telling us. And today is history. So I normally tell whoever that cares that I grow what I eat. So it's a beautiful scenario. Now giving yourself totally to the needs of your family and to yourself. Initially, it's giving your total self to the service of your people. But 16 years out of almost 50-something years is for us to sit down and look inward and see areas where I was found wanting that I didn't give attention to, and areas where I thought I have done better off, which I have to increase in that angle. So it hasn't been easy, but I think I have most time to myself now, and I'm beginning to enjoy it.
You represented 2 states, Kaduna and Adamawa, and of course you've also been in the PDP and now the APC. What was that experience like?
Well, when I started, I was with the opposition from 1999 to 2007, or rather 6. I've been with the APP before it metamorphosed into the All Nigerian People's Party. And it was, what really took me to PDP was the former governor of Adamawa State in the person of His Excellency Mboni Haruna, who beckoned on me and said, I have seen what you have done in Kaduna. Why don't you come over to Adamawa State and let the people have a feel of your representation? Since Minchika Madagali constituency, the person on seat now is from Madagali local government and you are from Minchika. So I want you to now come in so that you can represent Minchika. And I told him, I said, look, all my life I was born in Kaduna, I grew up in Kaduna, so I don't have any platform, excuse me, to work on. And he said, no, you can work on my platform. Though then I was pregnant, I have a husband that I have to contend with, and I have my family, my parents to contend with. And when I spoke with him, he said, that is what you know how to do well, but if he has beckoned on you, you don't need to go back. So he gave me his blessing. I went to my parents when they were alive, especially my dad, and he welcomed it, but with a caveat. Excuse me. And at that time, His Excellency was neither in PDP or in ACN at that time. So now where do I now mingle myself in? So we had to make a little research, because we just jump into that. We made a little research, and since my parents were based in the village, I usually, at least twice or thrice a year, normally visit them. So the little that we're doing, and the scorecard, I was the first legislator to come out with a scorecard. And I never knew that the scorecard had gone places. So what even gave me a nod and the acceptability in that constituency was the scorecard. And they said, oh, there was a girl, an Adamawa girl from Minchika local government, who is a member of House of Representatives in Kaduna, and she's doing well. So I was shocked when I went. I saw a lot of scorecards of mine there, and I think there was not much to do. So now, where do we stay within the party? Is it the PDP or the ACN? So, and time was going up. And when I see that, whatever, with the people over there, and I said, oh, why don't you stay in PDP? And aligned yourself with General Buba Marua's camp. Fortunately, he's from my local government, and he's one person that I have my utmost respect and my secret mentor, because I admired him in terms of his administrative powers. So I was following him, and that was how it all went. Unfortunately, I came second at the primary. But you know, when destiny beckons on you, you can't say no to it. As score we have it, His Excellency Bala Nglari then was taken as a deputy governor. So obviously the person that came second should be given. It wasn't easy, it was a battle, but again at the national, two people stood up and said, look, we need more women in parliament and we can't allow this to go. I was then the chairman of the PDP, I think Amadou Ali, and of blessed memory, Tony Anini. Dina said no. If she is the one that came second, obviously, she should be allowed to be given that ticket. So that's how I came back the third time to represent Madagali Mijika constituency of Adamawa State. But it wasn't easy. You from urban base constituency to a rural base, definitely you have more of the yearning of the people from the rural area than the urban area. But again, with God on my side, we were able to break through. But 2011 was one of the biggest obstacles that I have in my political life. The issue of no, she's a woman, no, her parents are Muslim, no, the others are no, she's a Christian, and all this things. So, and not that, has she performed well? So when the pressure became so much, and I looked at it, I said, excuse me, I think we went to the primary. Yes, I was the main flag bearer, but at the end of the day, a lot of things happens, and I took a bow. So that was how I spent my 12 years in the House of Representatives. And by 2013/14, again, the governor then, Admiral Inyako, now deemed me feel that he wanted to change the narrative of politics in Adamawa State. He's looking for someone that has a good political leadership, that can pilot the party in the state. That again was another hurdle. But as God will have it, I was able to overcome that hurdle at that point in time. And a lot of people now came and said, look, within the political circle, and said, no, she has done well. Why don't we try the woman first? And 2014, I had 2 caps. One as a member to represent the federal national, what do you call it? National, I can't remember the name now. If you can help me. Conference. The national conference. I was the woman representing Adamawa State. It's 3 per state, 2 men and a female. And through that, I became the first chairman of APC as a female. And in 2015, again, who will now take the mantleship of Adamawa North Senatorial District? Because at that time, Adamawa North is controlled wholly by PDP. And nobody was willing to pick up the ticket. Again, the supporters of APC came together, had their meeting, and I said, no, you have to run on that platform to represent Adamawa North. God in His infinite mercy, when I now took over, I was able to win the election. So even when you are not the chairman on the need, we're planning to see how do we win. APC now will win election. But at that time, PDP was almost at 20%. The new formation of APC came up on board. And we're there trying to see, each week we make an analysis of the entire structure, over 2,000 plus polling unit, to see where is our strength, what is our trait, which opportunities do we have. And I was shocked at the end of the day, we were able to produce 3 senators, 6 out of 8 House of Rep members, and 22 out of 25 House of Assembly members with the governor. So it wasn't an easy task, but there's this inner spirit that used to push me and say, you can't fail, you must make an impact. You can't fail, you must make an impact. And that was the strength I have. Failure is not part of me, I must make an impact. And today is history.
So looking at this history, the popular balance in Nigeria is politics is about interests, and the major parties don't have a sort of ideology anyone can look at and say, this is the ideology of this party, this is the ideology of that party, and so whatever happens to us, we blame the politicians. Am I right?
I think I would say either yes or no, but I think I would stay in the balance. Politics, the ideology of political party depends on what is the need of the people at that point in time. Because when you look at both political parties and you put them on a scale, in terms of preference, their preference is almost the same. We talk about free education, or we talk about insecurity. Most of them are talking about insecurity. You talked about how do you now reduce the unemployment rate or ratio. Then you talk about education. You talk about power. You talk about health. So virtually everything, when you looked at it, is almost on the same scale. But what do the people want at that point in time determines how you will make it or not make it. But the issue of, if you look at even when the politics started in Nigeria way back in the late 50s to now, the ideology is almost the same. I remember when the SDP and NRC came on board, my late husband of blessed memory he tilted his ideas and his support to NRC. But I tilted my support and idea to SDP. But when you looked at it at the end of the day, 30 states, if I can remember, what was the ratio was 16 against 14. But what are we having today? It's not the same. Because at that time you looked at people critiquing the ideologies of the two political parties. But do we have it now? The answer is no. But until we see how we fuse to look at how do we make the best of the belief the Nigerians have reposed on us, so that we will not fail them. But the Nigeria we have today, the situations are too much, or the problems are too many. Like I was telling somebody, I said, make Nigeria like a beautiful edifice. You see a beautiful house, the exterior wonderful. So you have been attracted by the beauty of that building, the flowers that are surrounding the building. But the more you are coming closer to the house or to the building, you will now start feeling some certain smell that you couldn't control. So only God knows what if you open the door. What do you meet? So in the process of opening the door, the stench were becoming too much. So where do you want to start working? So Nigeria is like that beautiful edifice, looking at her, but entering it, you have too much distractions and confusion. Now you talk about insecurity here, you talk about banditry here, which is part of insecurity, you talk about kidnapping, which is part of insecurity, you talk about hunger, which is part of agriculture. What are we trying to do to see that a stable food, a balanced meal is on the table of every Nigeria is another issue. You talked about water resources, which has another problem. You talk about power, is another issue. You talk about health. When you look at the mortality rate that Nigeria, if you looked at it, it's not something that one will look at it. So where do you touch in the first instance? So that is the situation and the scenario of Nigeria, the way we have found ourselves in. But you and I have a responsibility. Because you meet somebody else, you say, no, he's the governor, no, he's the senator, no, he's the member, no, he's the president. It is you and I. Because until we get it right, and the man up there might not get it right. So the issue of manifestos here and there, if you look at the Nigerian politics or the political party, are virtually having the same manifestos. Or maybe the thin line might not be much.
So while we're still at that, it will seem also that clearly there's a sort of disconnect from the governed now and those who are supposed to be governing, or those who are governing, like we're not on the same page. Is it a communication problem, or is it an implementation problem?
It's both communication and implementation. It's unfortunate that it's only in Nigeria, once if you are elected, you become a demigod. It's only in Nigeria I've seen that. You demystify yourself. The same electorate demystifies you. The same security guy demystifies you. So because when you are now vying for the office of either the governor, which are the executive, the presidential, or even the local government, those are the executive that have executive power, that has the power of the purse. I've been demystified. Maybe when you're vying for that position, you are with the people. You sandwich yourself with the people. You know their needs. You make promises. But the moment you are elected, you are being enclosed. And it will only take the grace of God for you to now, if you have your jotter, probably you jot, okay, I have promised, make these promises. But again, the promises you made out there and what you will meet in when you are elected or in the office might be two different things. So how do you juggle it together? Because the biggest problem Nigeria is facing, be it local, state, or national, is insecurity. Most of my people from the northeastern zone, especially Adamawa State, can't even go to farm. Insecurity. Now, even if you go to farm, getting the fertilizer is a problem. because they said, no, you can't take fertilizer to that angle, that area, because they use the fertilizer for bomb. For how long? So if you said that the Northeast is free of Boko Haram or whatever, now allow the people to go to farm. Even if they go to farm, where will they get the fertilizer? So if you sell fertilizer here at 30,000 or 40,000, in Adamawa State you can't buy fertilizer less than 50,000. So now, how do you now have food security? So you see now the security angle, taking fertilizer to Northeast is an issue. What is the repercussion? It's going to affect your food production. It's going to affect your food, the pricing of your products. So those, I think, there must be synergy on some of the policies of government. Now, as I'm talking to you, the federal government has released thousands of trucks of fertilizer. Now, if you now want to make the analysis of states that are into insecure environment, virtually the entire Northeast, virtually I said, the entire, but when you take Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, and most of those areas are agrarian in nature. And now, how do you now transport those fertilizer to meet the right farmers in those villages or local governments and villages? How do you take them? So the policies of government need to change. The Ministry of Agriculture will distribute the fertilizer. Now taking the fertilizer from maybe Kaduna or wherever to Gombe, from Gombe to Bauchi, or Bauchi to Gombe, Gombe to Adamawa, Borno and Yobe through Kano. How do you get those fertilizers? Because there's an issue or a policy of government. Some of those fertilizers are used for explosives. So the government within itself now needs to look at all those areas for you to fight the food security we are talking about.
Okay, I'm going to hold you on that because I'm told that it's time to go on a break, and of course we're going to continue the conversation after this time out. Stay with us. Welcome back. So, Senator, I'm going to hold you on the line of government policies. You found yourself in a situation where you were the only female elected senator at a point in time in the entire area where you come from. How does it feel, women representation in the north in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. 2015, I think I was the only female from the entire northern Nigeria. There's about 57 of us, if I can remember, and I was the only female. We had a very good rapport, but the area where we differ, which was almost like a war zone, was when we wanted to amend Section 47, where they asked for each state ought to have a representation of a ministerial in the Federal Executive Council. And one of the things that we being, again, committee member in the constitutional reform or amendment, we only wanted 35% affirmative action, just to include that word, 35%. And I think it almost took this country to almost another dimension. And what was it? Probably, with due respect to my colleagues at that point in time, didn't know what we were asking for. Because at the end of the day, they thought we were asking for 35% elective. We said, no, it's 35% appointive. Because way back in 1993, Nigerian affirmed her signature to the affirmative action. Some of it was during the military era and whatever. And now what we're saying, in every home you must have a female. Even if all your children are male, your wife is a female.
And a mother.
Your mother, a female. Maybe your sister, one or two are females, or even your cousins. All what we're trying to see is to see you give us a leverage of allowing the woman to contribute her own quota in nation building. That's all. And one of the key things I asked, I said, some of you went to school with women. And unfortunately, some of the women beat you hands down academically. Has it changed the narrative? The answer is no. He said, no, it's against. I said, no, it's not against. We shouldn't bring religion when you want to do something that will now get the attentions of the common Nigerians who are looking for a voice to change their standard of living or to change their lifestyle. You are not trying to oppress them. So a lady from, a colleague of mine from one of the northwestern states came in, has a bill, and he brought in a professor to now support the bill through her submission. Some of my colleagues were like, do you mean this woman is a northerner? I said, she's not only a northerner, but a professor. So you mean you have such people? I said, don't tell me that. Even you that you are from the south, some of us that are in the same assembly, are we not well educated enough? I said, we have 1,000,001 of them, and those are the issues. So the guy actually is from Jigawa. I said, these are the kind of women we're looking for to take the 35% affirmative action in governance. He said, no, I thought you said elective. And I said, we didn't say elective, we said appointive. And some of you are saying that let's start from the commissioner. We should leave the state. I said, you said we should start from the commissioner level. But once, if it is captured in that section 47, I presumed, it goes down. The commissioners, which is encapsulated in the Constitution too, and the ministerial. So those are the things we are looking for.
Do you think this counted against you when you contested again?
That one is another issue on its own ground. But what we're saying is that, like I told them, it is not about we in the parliament today. It's about your grandchild, your granddaughter, your daughter, and your great-grand. Because those that have brought about the Constitution, probably some of us weren't there when that Constitution came to be. So all what we're saying is that we should leave a legacy, that tomorrow your granddaughter can look back and say, thank you, grandfather, for making this bill to pass. But you will just shut it down. And that is the same issue we're having till tomorrow, until we have a political will by those saddled with the responsibility to lead. And I said, no, it has happened in other countries. And when we even started in the House of Representatives, we were bringing about South Africa. They said, no, they've killed all the men. So, okay, then let's look at Namibia. No, even Namibia too, they did that. Okay, let's come back home, closer home. And let's look at what is even happening in Liberia. No, Liberia too, they've killed all the men. That's why they allow the woman to be their leader. That is not it. You can't survive without a woman. She's your mother. She's your wife. She's your daughter. So don't look at today. Look at tomorrow. So whatever you do, think about tomorrow. Once if you think about tomorrow, you made the right of today that will speak for you for tomorrow. So that's all what we're saying. But unfortunately, the religious leaders are not even helping matters. They are not helping matters. But all what I have said, and I will continue to say, is that even for an American woman to be given the right to cast her vote, it took almost a century. But we'll keep on pushing it. If we reach a particular place, we see that we're failing, we give the mantles to our daughters and to whoever that cares. They will continue with that mantle until we see the day, either dead or alive, that what the struggle was started has seen the light of the day. And that will be to the glory of God and humanity. And that's all.
I think I saw a beautiful example of what you're describing in Morocco. We have women in beautiful leadership positions there, and they're all on the same round table with their male counterparts, and it's almost equal, if I recall.
And Morocco is an Islamic state.
Yes, in Africa. So
it's an Islamic country, sorry, in Africa, yeah?
And so one will begin to wonder if we're choosing
Kenya,
the right countries to do the peer review with.
Uganda, they did that.
Yes.
Tanzania is a woman that is their president. So what's the big deal about? What is the fear of giving the woman the right just to contribute her own quota to nation building?
Does education limitation have a role in this?
I don't think it's education limitation. I don't think
so. Is it cultural?
To an extent, it might be cultural. To an extent, it's cultural. Now, if you look at what is happening in the issue of, what do you call it? When a man dies, inheritance. In the southern part of Nigeria, especially the southeastern part, a woman doesn't have a right to inherit. But today, it is not. A woman fought it to the Supreme Court. And based on the fundamental right enshrined in the Constitution from Section 36 to 42, gives the right, woman, an equal right. There's no discrimination about gender in our Constitution. Nigerian Constitution is superb when it comes to gender discrimination. There's nothing like that.
So why do you have a problem
implementing in the implementation because of culture or custom? But like when we brought about this gender equality bill, which was thrown in and out, one of the key areas why it was thrown was because of inheritance. And until we start educating ourselves both on the divide to now know what actually is inheritance, the Muslim culture streamlined what inheritance is all, and it does not contradict gender. The mother has her portion, the daughter has her portion, the man or the boy has his portion. Even when you come to even the Christian faith, in the Bible, there is inheritance distribution.
Yeah.
But it's the culture that a lot of people are hiding under, which obviously is not going to pay anybody. I've never seen anybody that has been enriched by inheritance. I've never, because of the issues surrounding inheritance. So if you have your money and you buy your land, will somebody stop you and say, why are you buying the land? So education too has widened the horizon to let a woman knows that as a Nigerian, you have a right to own your property. If you know you have your right, if you can do your business and make your little money, whatever you do with the money, it depends on you. So you have your right to see what you can buy your property, you have a right, you can do your business. The Constitution is clear about that. But the implementation to a large extent, especially when it comes to politics, that is where we're having issues. I asked a question when Senator Shimole was the chairman of APC. And he said that women should pay 50% of that. I said it's not buying or giving us ticket freely. That is the issue. You can give me a free ticket, but how do I win the election at the end of the day if I don't have the resources that will stand as my logistics in pursuing that ticket? And to see also the ticket you gave me freely or 50% discounted, as you said, then do you want me to win election? So hold your, let me buy my ticket, but take the logistics out from me. Because not the ticket, the logistics from point A to the final result is where the problem is. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't have that capacity to withstand the pressure all through. because you must remove the girly or the womanly affection you have and throw it away and try to wear another garment of the man, because it's a battle. And sometimes battles are won not by the bow or the arrow or the bullet. Sometimes it's on the table that you say that you win battles. So the issue men are having, and I don't know why, is on culture. Sometimes it's not on religion. If you are a Christian, you want the what do you call it, the inheritance right. I think this is enshrined. It's either Numbers chapter 27, when a girl now has to confront Moses and said, "Our father died," and they said, "No, we don't have an inheritance." And Moses said, "You asked a hard question. Let me go back to God." And God again told him that those girls asked a very poignant question, but this is how the inheritance should come out. And it's detailed. So if you are a Christian, you don't have to bring culture. It's detailed. The Muslims, inheritance is detailed in their Quran. So I don't know why this culture is coming from any angle. But with the way a manner education has taken its root in Nigeria, it will be difficult for you to tell me as a woman that I have my properties, and you tell me that my daughters don't have a right over my properties. Not. My late husband died and left 2 girls, and the inheritance or whatever is on those 2 girls. So once if you have the education and you believe that the girl can change the narrative positively, then you are more comfortable with the girl than the boy. And even if you look at it now, a mother, a girl that is married and a boy that is married, who takes care of the parents at home is the girl. Because when you ask the boy, he says, I have my own family. But the girl has 1 naira, she's thinking about sending 50 kobo to her parent. So this notion of, no, the boy must be there. Now I strongly believe that most people within our generation are thinking, either you have 2 girls. I have a brother that has 3 girls, and I said, no, you have to. He said, "Madam, I am happy with my daughters. I am comfortable with my 3 daughters." So you now see that the notion is changing. But give us an equal space in the political ground for us to contribute our quota. That is all. Academically, women are aspiring well. You are here. In every chosen profession, women are doing well. And one thing about the Nigerian constitution, which most of the Europeans are finding it difficult, is equal pay. In Nigeria, it's equal pay. In Europe, it's not equal pay. So they might get away with something, and they are now fighting the equal pay. But in Nigeria, irrespective of a he or a she, once if you have been employed, it's equal pay. Boy, in countries like Belgium, Germany, Australia, it's not equal pay. The men earn more than the women, so to them it's a battle there. But to us now, but on the political platform again, they give them the leverage to go and aspire with the men. But here we're not given the leverage.
They say women, in most cases here, are that clog in the wheel of the progress of other women.
I won't say yes and I won't say no, it depends. But one thing that I loved about the men, they sit, they take counsel, and once if they take counsel, if they don't want anybody to hear, you will hear. But women, when we sit and want to take counsel, one of us might be the Judah. So we have more Judas in the committee of women than the men. That one I can stand because I've been a victim of that. You go out with whatever, the next is that, but she's good. Oh. I think, why must she be the one? Now you have sent a wrong signal. And she has done that before. Is she the only one? But there are 2 men which I want to applaud 2 states in Nigeria that have stood the test of time to allow democracy to strive. Delta State is one. Yobe State is another. The guy we started in 1999 till date, Honorable Mutu, has never wavered, has been elected. This is the 5th or the 6th time. He's the only one now since 1999. The past Senate President, Lawal Ahmed, we came in 1999. He's the same surviving one now in the Senate. So if you now take an analysis of these 2 gentlemen and you go to their constituency before and after, I can bet you to see the kind of federal government presence in those 2 constituencies, or senatorial district and federal constituency. Because the more you keep one in a particular place, especially in the National Assembly, the better for the state and the better for the constituency. But you bring in one today, the next thing now you pull that one back. Now you are putting more pressure on the government, because every member elected has to go through the rudiment of, training. No matter how intelligent you are, even if you are a constitutional lawyer and you are elected, it takes you 2 and 2.5 years to understand the rudiment of legislative activities. Now, after that, the person is trying to get his act together, he's going back again for another election. And probably he might not come back. Now, government have invested in that member, wasted. Another member will come. So when they ask the National Assembly spend so much money, they have forgotten where those monies are going. You now bring in a new one. Just if you looked at the National Assembly the way it is, over 200 members, House of Rep, new, over 70 members in the Senate, new. So if peradventure you are spending ₦1 billion last year, just an example, on training and retraining, because you have a local training, you have an international training. Now with the dingling of the dollar, you are going to spend close to 10 billion in such people. But if you had gotten maybe 70% of them are new, old members in the house, you can't spend that kind of quantum of money in training those people. Rather, you might have to train the trainer. So when people are shouting National Assembly is spending so much money, it is because the electorate are electing new people day in, day out. So you can't get the best of what you want to do.
So I'll hold you on that, because we're going to go on a break again, and we will be right back. Thank you for remaining with us. And of course, I've been speaking with Senator Binta Masi Garba. And before we went on that break, you were talking about the National Assembly as it is. You're giving me that example where members are spending 4 years, going back, another set is coming in. What are the implications on Nigeria's development?
I just told you now.
Yes, I'm asking this question basically because it will seem like a lot of Nigerians don't have this information.
My dear, you see, when we said let the old hands remain, is to help the democratic process work. If you go to America today, even Biden spent over 30 years as a senator. So him winning the election, especially he's in his state, to them, he has been a fantastic legislator. I remember in 1999, I shadowed a lady from North Carolina. And at that time, there was a bill before the American Congress. I think that has to do with the AGOA bill, African whatever bill. AGOA bill. The lady I shadow has been in the parliament for over 20 years. At that time, the president called her, asking for her own contribution to see to that AGOA bill passing. And I shadowed her for about a week. And the way and manner they do their own process is different from us. After 2 years, you have to go back and see if what you are being sent, you have done well. Then they can now recall you. But in the Senate, it's 6 years. But in the House, in the House of Rep, it's 4 years. But after 2 years, you just go in and see if indeed you can be recalled in the election. But ours is not the same. Everybody will say, it's our turn. This turn has done that. This local government has done that. It's our turn. But no, it's the implication at the end of the day. Has he done well? It's not that you go in 4 years, you come back and know it's my turn. What will be the presence of federal government in those constituencies? Because it's a federal constituency. So they must have federal presence. So now, and you coming in as a fresher, that's why in American Congress, when you come in the first time, you are towards the tail end. They call you a fresher. You have to start at the end of the tunnel. And if you look at the National Assembly today, if you look at the principal officers, it's from down it goes up. So it depends on the years you have spent in the National Assembly. So the first, second, third rows are those that have been old Congress men and women. That's why you see the principal officers on the first row, then followed by those on hierarchy. The ones towards the extreme end are the freshers. They are the newcomers. And I think it happens even in the university. So I guess they call you freshers. So it is in the parliament. So when you look at those as the principal officers or those in the second, third row, in terms of critiquing any bill or any national issue, those are the people who are being given the right to speak.
They have this sort of
because
institutional
knowledge. They have this institutional knowledge and they know the rules of the game. You that you are standing behind, before you come down to where they are, it will take you another 2 or 3 terms to be there. But you are putting pressure on the person trying to understand the rudiment of parliamentary activities. And after 3 years or 2 years, you are not saying that we don't want you, you didn't do anything. And the person that is on the second, third row, or the first, second, and third row, if you go to their constituencies, they will see the presence of government from the state to their senatorial, to their constituency. And him that started now, nothing, he's showing forth nothing. But again, government spends so much money in pumping knowledge, legislative knowledge, the activities that you need to do so that you can stand knowledgeably when you want to critique or we want to support or you want to go against any bill. That's number one. And number two, in terms of our educational setup, I've said this, I chair the higher education. Every state wants to have more than 3 universities. Federal universities, federal polytechnics, state polytechnics. And we have forgotten that those fundings has to come from federal government. Oh no, I brought an institution to my constituency. Now after placing the institution, because it happens with the primary health care, now you build primary health care, which is the responsibility of federal government, you hand it over to the state, there are
nobody to take ownership.
Not even ownership. The state could not even employ the nurses and the doctors. So now it becomes another abandoned project. That everybody wants to make an impact so that you on your scorecard is that I did A, B, C, D. But what is the impact to the people? So the synergy is a higher ed, primary and junior secondary school and senior secondary school, state. But now, federal government has secondary schools, which is the federal colleges of education, federal government colleges.
Yeah.
But in a well-established institution or, governance in other countries, primary and secondary schools are responsibility of state. The federal takes over higher education. Now, in Adamawa State, in Adamawa North Senatorial District, we have state university, we have federal polytechnic, now we're having federal University of Agriculture, which is new. Now the polytechnic, what happened to the polytechnic? Now you are bringing in another one that the government, whether you like it or not, it is a bill that has been signed into law. So the government has no say not to make that university work. But now where do we get those money to put those universities? I'm just giving you an example. So this issue, you must maintain the ones that are there, which you know they are doing well. But bringing over 200 new members in the House of Rep and about 70 senators out of 109, my dear, if you are the one, you have a child that has gone to school thrice and is repeating a class, even the amount of money you expend on that child, sometimes you ask them, say, are you okay? That is the situation we find ourselves in. So don't be surprised in 2027, this crop of people might not be back. So how National Assembly is spending too much money is because of that.
But there is the argument that some of them get elected and they just disappear. Their constituents don't see them again, don't hear them again. Then there's another argument that says, if the governor of your state doesn't like you, no matter what you do.
But that is wrong. That is wrong. I am one person that believes that once if you are saddled with your responsibility, maintain your lane. Don't go into another person's lane. Some of our senators wanted to be governors. You are coming for the first time. The governor is there for the first time. Why you are in his position? So obviously, some of them want to fight you back. So maintain your lane and look at your constituency or your senatorial district. What do I do to attract governance, a federal government into my constituency or my senatorial zone? How do I help the government of my state in terms of bringing in investors? Well, you can't be an island on your own. You can't. That was what affected me in 2015 and 19. By saying the truth, do the right thing is no, she's overshooting her bound. And at the end of the day, it consumed all of us. It consumed us. Because you cannot be pretending and now you go back and say, no, this person, I don't want this person. And I told my former governor then, I said, if I fail this election, be rest assured you're going to fail. Because it goes pari passu. And indeed, where I believed I was manipulated, he too was manipulated. And that's how we lost it. But the thing is that maintain your lane, I maintain my lane. The most important thing is to see how these Nigerians that are in need of change will affect their lives positively. I went to a public school because my father was a military guy. So I grew up in the barrack. I went to Army Primary School. I went to Command Day Secondary School. So if I looked at, I asked myself one day, I said, can I ask my children to go to the same school I was taught or tutored? The answer is no. Then what went wrong? We start asking ourselves, when you know where your humble beginning, where you were from, and where you are now, and where you are projecting to be, it might not be you all through. There's a time nature will call you and you will leave. But in the process, how will you affect the life of people? Because government, if government did not, I was a product of the Universal Basic Education in 1975-76. So obviously, if there was no this universal education, I remember during Obasanjo, some of us that came in, we have to touch our ear. Obviously, mine went over because I lived with an aunt who refused me to go to school. So I started school late, almost at the age of 8. So if there was no universal basic education, probably I wouldn't have been where I am today. So look at your root and see how God has brought you thus far. Then you now in your own little way appreciate God by impacting positively in the lives of people, because you don't know the trajectory will fall on tomorrow. So what we do as Nigerians, we must believe in ourselves, we must believe in our country, we must believe in our community, and we must believe in our family. If family values are out, nothing works. Because the value my parent inculcated in me, I have to transfer it to my children. And the other day, my daughter was talking to her son. I said, let me tell you, if I want to follow what my mother did to me, you won't be here. But you must do what I asked you to do. She didn't know I was hearing. And I was just looking at her. I said, hey, I've gotten someone that is taking after me. Not for any other thing. It's the value. So the value parents gave us is no more there. That's why you see, you give any child, any person work, he's thinking of how he can defraud from you. And at the end of the day, it's the government. Unfortunately, President Tinubu is in a very dicey area now, where even a married woman that is not married, by what we heard during the protest, he said it's because of bad governance. If a 37-year-old woman can carry a placard and say, because of bad government, that's why I'm not married. So everything, now, if you don't have food, you're supposed to go and farm, you are saying that it's because of bad governance, you don't have food on the table. A girl that is in a university, for her to concentrate in her education, she's looking for sugar daddy to buy her a car, and if she doesn't make it now, she said it's bad governance. A father that is working in an office is trying to say how he can defraud the government, and if he doesn't get it, he said it's a bad governance. So who are the governed and who are the government? It's you and I. If I can contribute my quota and believe entirely in my country that I am what I am today by the special grace of God and through my government, then I should give back what is due to the government, so that our children that are yet unborn can appreciate us in the future. People sacrifice their lives to make Nigeria what it is today. In the north, if we are trying to arouse interest of people, we'll bring back memory lane of our founding fathers. Talked about Tafawa Balewa, talk about Ahmadu Bello. But these are people that they think only Nigeria and how they will make impact, which they have. But now their legacy, wherever they are, they will be crying, because that was not what they wanted for northern Nigeria. Talk about Awolowo. Today, the north-southwest, whether we like it or not, educationally, is because of Awolowo, free education. You want to talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe. These are people that were thinking about Nigeria and Nigeria, how do we progress Nigeria? But today, nobody is looking at that. They have forgotten about them. But some of us wouldn't. Because those are the sacrifices they have. They have sacrificed their life to have a better and a good country called Nigeria. So what is our own sacrifice? Everybody wants to make money. Even if you make the money on earth, will you be buried with the money? The answer is no. So even if you get the money, try to make small industries to attract those younger ones too. Try to diversify in terms of opening companies, factories and what have you. But how can you just keep one kind of money, quantum of money that you know that through that you can affect thousands of lives, and at that thousands of lives, if not for any other thing, 100 of them will be praying for you. So which one is better? To get people that say, thank you, God, for giving us this job through so and so. Multiply him so that we can be sustained. But we don't do. You keep money in the bank and keep money in the bank and keep money in the bank. I thought with what happened to Herbert, most of our Nigerians would think twice. I thought. But we think about debt today, oh, so sorry. The next thing you turn, you forget about it. So why people are shouting is that most of us, all of us, not even all of us, have contributed negatively in running this country. And that is why we found ourselves where we are. But one person cannot change it. It will take two to tango, so they say. So 3 people can change it. So let's start this change matriarch. Now, I can change it, you can change it, and see how it can go. I remember I was in the village. I had some of little kids between the age of 10 and 12. They came to my house, we were just cleaning. I said, okay, help. I gave them brooms. Do you know they finished cleaning? They were waiting for me. And Mommy Mangama, Mommy, we are done. To na gode, thank you very much. No, Mommy, za mu je makaranta gobe. Muna neman kuɗin kosai. That means we finished. We are going to school tomorrow. So we are looking for money that will buy akara or my. And I said, I said, no, give us 50 naira. So now the work they did, to me, I was thinking they are helping me, but I have to pay them. So I did. The next day they came and said, do I have any job to do for them?
What did you say?
And I said, I don't have any job. And you could see that, okay, now, then one of them said, okay, Zanjen said, Zambi Mamana said, Ayaba. That means I have to follow my mother to go and sell banana. I had to call them back again. And I said, okay, yesterday you said I should give you 50 naira, so I'm giving you 100 naira. But before I left, I called the kids. I said, it's good to help, but don't ask for money. But it's good again to go to school, and it's good to help your mother at home. But not necessarily you have to go and work to get small money to go and buy my money. Do you eat in the house before you go to school? They say yes. What time do you come back from school? They say around 12:1. I said, so when you come back, it's better you get another food. But putting it at the back of the mind that maybe I want to buy akara or my mind, because in the house you don't eat akara or you don't eat my mind.
I think back then there was the culture of kids take what they will eat from the house to the school and not buy from
I don't know. This one just happened about 2 years ago in my village. But it gives me a deep thought that we're missing things out. I remember when we're growing up, when you see an elder coming in, you don't need anybody to talk to you. You go and help that elderly person. But today it's not the same. It's not. Even if you are in a car, you see an elderly person, instead of you to move for the person, you are on your phone. So something is wrong in the family values life.
I want to take this last question before we leave, and I'm going to take you way back. You worked in a media house before coming into politics. I see you're closing your eyes, and you stood for something and left. So at what point do we look at the entire Nigerian system and say, no, you've made reference over time, and I'm casting my mind back now to see that it's not just a new Senator Binta saying, no, things have to be done rightly. You started having this kind of a voice before becoming a politician.
An incident happened when I was working with the New Nigerian newspapers. And when we came in after my OND in 1990, we started working in New Nigerian newspaper on level 7, step 4. after 2 years, or no, 3 years thereabout, no, 5 years, I started working in New Nigeria in 1991. This incident happened in 1996, so 5 years later, where were supposedly promoted. There's this gentleman that we were employed on the same date, taken to the same department as marketing, the advert department. And then when the promotion came, he was now taken to the regional office in Bauchi, and I was taken to advertorial department, stroke marketing. So when our letter came out, he was on level 15, acting 17, and I was taken to level 9, step 5. And after doing the congratulation, I said, well, something is wrong somewhere. I said, why is this guy from 7 to 15 acting 17, I think, I guess, or is it 13 acting 15? Then me, 7 to 9 and 5. I sat down and I said, no, something is wrong somewhere. So I went and met my manager. He's late now, Mohammed Ali. And I said, how do you do your promotion here? And he said, it's management. The MD now, then, was once an executive secretary, and now he's a lecturer. He was a vice chancellor before, became an executive secretary of the NUC, and he's now back to the class. I walked into his office as the MD, and I met them. We had this knitted relationship then. So whoever you are, that's if you want to see the MD, that there's this open door policy. And I said, I have been given 9-5, and this guy is given 13-15. Then jokingly, he said, he's a married man now. He's a family man. I said, but me, am I not married? You know, but you are with a man now, so he's taking responsibility. I said, no, sir. The next month, I was downgraded from the 9 to 8. So I went home. After a week, I said, no. I said, as mouthy as I am, I can be dealt with. What about those women that can't even speak out? On my own, I just said, I'm going to join politics. That's how I started. So over dinner, I was telling my late husband, I said, I want to join politics. He said, how? I said, this is what happened to me. And I don't think, and at that time, I was selling kununzaki. My salary in 1991, level 7, step 4, basic, my net was 324 naira. And I was selling kununzaki every day. I was making 350 naira as a profit. So with what happened to me, and I said, what is the big deal? If I can make 1,750 naira in a week, which is almost my 6-month salary, then what's even working with this kind of issues that I'm getting? So when I met them, I said, I want to resign. My late husband said, if whatever you feel like doing, if it suits you, I'm okay with it. So I went and put in my resignation. Came the next week, I told him, Mami, I want to go to Abuja. I want to look for a political party. Just like that. I said, if you want to take me, but because of your work, I want to go. He said, Binta, when you put yourself to do something, nobody will stop you. But if you think that is what you feel will make you happy, you will have my blessing. So and I came to Abuja here. And I didn't go to DPN. I went to NRS, whatever. I went to NCPN office. And I said, sir, I want to register. I want to buy into politics and I want to register. He said, which state are you from? I said, Kaduna State. Which local government? I said, Kaduna South. He said, which is your ward? I said, Barnawa ward. He said to Madam, you have to go back to the Barnawa ward and register first. Get your ward chairman, get yourself registered, get your registration card, pay your dues. Then from there we can start talking. And that's how it started. So now when I went, at that time, Center Party was not even known. It was almost like the third party at that time. It's DPN and another party, CNC, then before whatever. Then when I went, and the chairman saw me, and he said, and I told him I want to go for House of Rep. So it's from there he started torturing me. I said, okay, if you want to do this, these are the local government that you have to go, these are the ward. Since you don't, I will get the ward chairman. And before, I thought it was like a joke, and before he knew it, it went viral. And here I am today. So is this cultural, traditional, religious aspect of things that probably is weighing some of us down. And again, I was happy that I had a husband that believes in my dream and supports me. Because even when we started, he's the one that will use this car to take me from one angle to another. Then you reach a stage when they say, okay, we're having a meeting for 9 p.m. He took me there. From 9 p.m. they said, no, the meeting has been shifted to 12 midnight. He took me there. The 12 midnight, they said, then one of the Binta, why are you coming here? Don't you think you can, you have to go back home? And I said, don't you have a wife? I said, my husband is outside waiting for me. And they were like shocked. I said, yes, because he believes in what I believed in. Unfortunately, he's no more. But I think he believes I have a dream, and he wants me to push the dream myself. If it comes to reality, but all what he said, the only thing I can do, if you ask me to take you anywhere, the rest assured you have a man that will take you there. And he has been doing that. So I was fortunate.
Some are not.
I had a husband that believed in my dream. I had a parent that stood by me. Despite the fact that my kids were very, 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 very young. My first daughter at that time was just about 7 or 8 when I started all this. My second daughter was just about 4. So it wasn't an easy task, but the man stood by me, and he was able to shield me. And here I am today.
I must sincerely thank you, Senator Binta
Masi
Masi Garba, for your sharing your time with me on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bless you too. And that is the much we can take this week on the conversation on Top Talk. Until we come your way again, same time next week, don't forget, keep being safe, and God bless Nigeria. My name is Leah Katung. Babatunde.